for that break. Yes, you had mentioned equally earlier on that we're not short of laws that protect children. But let's not forget that these institutions that are there to ensure that our children are well protected and not delivering as they should. Let's not also forget, and I want us to take a realistic approach, that right now where we are, so the institutions are not working, and at the same time, our parents and guardians in the house are really distracted because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's be realistic. What needs to be done as we wind up this conversation? What can we do right now? What can be implemented even as we plan on talking to our children? Because it's a process that takes place. How can we salvage this situation right now?
Well, thank you very much indeed. In conclusion, I would wish to suggest the following. First, we have to enforce the law as provided for, because one aim of punishment against crime is to deter any future offenders. And therefore, if the criminal justice system can be very firm and send a sound warning to the people of Kenya that people who violate the rights of the children will face the law, I think this will deter some offenders and therefore contribute to child protection. Secondly, I would wish to call on the government to strengthen social protection flows in Kenya. This may include cash transfer to the orphans, because we are aware that some of these children are lured by the sex predators simply because they can provide a loaf of bread or a bottle of soda. And therefore, if the children don't suffer deprivations, then I believe they are able to stand firm and the families will be resilient and protect their children. Thirdly, I will still call for greater sensitization of our communities on the rights of the children so that everyone in Kenya can stand up for children and defend their rights. And last but not the least, I want to talk directly to these child sex perpetrators. Please understand that our children are vulnerable. They are weak. They need protection. Take off your hands from the innocent children and let the children live the life that God has given them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Davis, for that. Dr. Gitau, I'll let you have the last word. But please correct me if I'm wrong. But I have a feeling that the perpetrators, where they are coming from, it's a trickle-down effect that started from an early age. Maybe they were violated, maybe they were not. Something must have triggered that. Is there signs that we can look out for?
Yes, it's important to know who is this person. And I'm telling you, the ones that are disguised, they are pedophiles, and they like to be very close to children and treat them well. And all the time they want to be around children. But we do have the ones that are aggressive, that anytime they are with children, children are crying, they are complaining. That is why it's easy to pick them. We do also have some that whatever they do, they ensure that the child does not talk. They are quite controlling. So we can pick, but we also need to pick. Not so much about even that person, but so much about our children. This is the high time we actually empowered our children. Why? Because that person sometimes can even get that child who has been brought up so well, who has been told that you can tell this one and this one is a child predator, but they have used their power and they have used their control. Like even the parents who give tuk-tuk drivers, and I'm saying all of them are bad, and even the boda riders, or even your neighbors or strangers to take your children to school. I think it's a high time we empowered the child, but at the same time, I want to tell you this, Trixie, and the ones that are listening and watching us. A traumatized child's brain is very hard to repair, especially in future. So any child who has been abused in any way needs to be given trauma counseling, psychological first aid within the 72 hours, the same way we say, go and take PEP. We also want the child's mind to be brought to a level of functioning. Why? Because they have different developmental stages they have to negotiate. And if a child has been violated, and especially below 10 years, you wait for them to come and repeat the cycle if nothing happens. Or we find the suicide cases rising among children and adolescents. So maybe my parting shot, we need to have a safe parent. So are you safe as a parent? We need to have a safe teacher. Are you safe? We need to have safe homes where your child is. Are they safe? We need to have safe schools. Do we even know the safe spaces in our schools? We need to have a safe community whereby the Nyumba Kumi initiative needs to be implemented and followed up by authorities because it works very well. It has worked in Rwanda. Why not Kenya? And they borrowed this policy from us. We also need to have safe police stations where when children are taken there, especially to write statements, are they feeling safe or they are scared? So we also need to have safe child protection police officers who are also given capacity building so that they help these children to be children anywhere, anytime, because no child should be denied an opportunity to be a child. You only live it once, you will never live it again. So we also need to have everybody coming up and becoming a child protection officer. What am I saying? From the president of this nation to all the ministers, because all of us, we have children and we were once children. Before we go to the CS education, all of us should actually, to Ajibike, we all need to take responsibility. And when we come to the chiefs, that is the sub-chiefs, the assistant chiefs, and the chiefs, and the administration police, and the community leaders, wale wazee wa kijiji, we need to know it is time right now. We protected our children. We protect our children, we have protected our nation, our children, our present, our future. God bless us as we think about children.
Just briefly, because you mentioned safe parents, I'm assuming a parent who has gone through this trauma of a child being abducted and then the body found dead is going through a lot as a parent. And let's say they have and other children in the house. How exactly can we help these parents who are already suffering from what already has happened be safe parents to those children who are still alive?
And it's not just the parent. I know the parent because it's a first contact person, and especially for mothers, because we have been born with nurturing hormones called oxytocin. Sometimes we really feel it. For men, they become angry and they can become very aggressive. So we need to worry about this caregiver, this parent, because if they are also not helped, they can actually re-victimize the child. For example, a parent who goes to the child and says, when they did this to you, where were you? What were you thinking? That is not a safe parent. So we need their parent, if they have what we call secondary traumatization, or they have vicarious trauma because their child has been abused, they have been traumatized, now I have it. If I am not helped, what is going to happen? I will not take care of my child. I will become paranoid. Some even say I don't want to give birth again, especially where we have sexual violence, which is the worst form of violence against children because it has a way, it just cuts through their souls, it cuts through their bodies, it cuts through their mind. And I'm not saying all the other forms of violence are good. They are not good to any child's brain, especially in their development. So we need to strengthen as well the mental health systems in this nation. I know we are doing a very good job around Nairobi, but we need to think that this child is the child in Kakuma, the child in Turkana, the child in Kisumu, the child that is in Moranga, in the interior rural area, the child that is in the slum villages, the child that is in Kibra, the child that is in Mathare. And that is the child I say is a vulnerable child. And I'm not saying the parents who have it, their children are not vulnerable. If you're a very active career woman or career father or career mother, It means most of the time you do not have contact with your child. So we are also having cases, rising cases of emotional abuse.
That's a very good place to
Children
end
who
it.
feel they are not connected with their parents.
Okay.
And I always tell parents, it makes me feel sad when they come and tell me stuff they cannot tell you. It means you need to get close to our children.
All right.
Thank you, Trixie.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Susan Gitau. And it is Ashley, counseling psychologist, and also Davis Okombo, child rights activist, for that conversation.